Yes, my friends, some things need to be resolved at the Miami Dolphins, and Coach Mike McDaniel is preparing everything. In the last few weeks, many rumors have appeared, including a controversy between two of our main players. I'll tell you everything, but first make sure you've already pressed the like button if you believe that the Miami Dolphins are a great team, and that if they are organized, they can go very far next season. I believe that we are capable of reaching the playoffs and even the Super Bowl, but we need to correct the mistakes and work seriously. If possible, write like this: Go Dolphins! I believe in you. Now changing the subject, we need to talk about Tyreek Hill and Tua Tagovailoa. Tyreek Hill has finally cleared things up, and Dolphins fans, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. After weeks of speculation following his surprise trade request following the Week 18 loss to the Jets, Hill has officially apologized, not just to fans, but to his quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa. For those who may have missed the drama, let's rewind. After the Dolphins' disappointing end to the season, rumors swirled about Tyreek's frustration, leading to whispers of a possible trade. While there were reports that he never seriously wanted to leave, he hadn't publicly addressed the issue until now. On the Countdown Show, while making the media rounds at Super Bowl 59, Hill put all doubts to rest. I don't want to go anywhere. That was his response when asked if he truly wanted to remain a Miami Dolphin. But he didn't stop there. He went one step further with a direct message to his quarterback. This is my public apology to you, Tua. I love you, bro. This was the moment fans needed. Tyreek has been one of Tua's biggest supporters since he arrived in Miami. But when his star wide receiver even hints at wanting to leave, it raises eyebrows. Some fans felt betrayed, others questioned his leadership, and even more wondered if this signified a deeper issue in the Dolphins' locker room. Now, with his public apology, Hill has effectively put that speculation to rest. This clears the air for what should be an exciting offseason. With Hill locked in, the Dolphins' wide receiver room is shaping up nicely heading into the 2025 season. Along with Jalen Waddle, Miami has one of the most dangerous duos in the NFL. Malik Washington, a promising slot receiver, is also in the mix. However, Miami could still look to add size at the position. With Tyreek at 5 feet 10 inches, Waddle at 5'10" -5'11", and Washington at 5'8" -5'9", the Dolphins lack a true big-body target for outside and red zone situations. This is something the front office will have to consider in free agency or the draft. But let's talk production. While Hill and Waddle remain elite talents, their numbers took a dip last season. Hill had back-to-back 1,700-yard seasons in his first 2 years with Miami, but the 2024 season didn't quite hit those marks. Waddle, for the first time in his career, finished under 1,000 yards. Why? It wasn't just them. The entire passing attack had to adjust. For starters, Tua only played 11 games. It's no secret that his health has been a constant issue, and when your starting quarterback isn't available, your top receivers suffer. But beyond that, the Dolphins' offense saw a major shift in target distribution. Tight end Jonnu Smith and running back Devon Achane were heavily involved in the passing game, combining for 198 targets and 166 receptions. That's an insane number for a tight end and running back duo, higher than what even the 49ers get out of Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle. Some of this was due to Miami's offensive line struggles. When a quarterback doesn't have time to let plays develop, checkdowns to the tight end and running back become more frequent. That's exactly what happened, leading to fewer deep shots to Hill and Waddle. The Dolphins need to fix this if they want to unlock their full offensive potential next season. And that brings us to the biggest conversation of all, Tua Tagovailoa. The debate around Tua is exhausting at this point. Dolphins fans are split. Some believe he's the long-term answer, others think Miami should move on. But here's the reality, his contract extension has raised the stakes. He's now getting paid like a franchise quarterback, which means expectations are through the roof. So far, the results have been mixed. In 4 seasons as the full-time starter, Tua has played a full season just once. He missed 4 games in 2021, 4 more in 2022, played all 17 in 2023, but then missed 6 in 2024. That's not sustainable. Dan Marino even weighed in on the topic during Super Bowl Media Week, emphasizing how crucial it is for Tua to stay on the field. Sure, you can point to offensive line struggles, but Tua also needs to play smarter. Some of his injuries have come from taking unnecessary hits, trying to extend plays, or fighting for extra yards when he should be sliding. If Miami is going to take the next step, their quarterback needs to be available. This leads to the biggest priority of the offseason, fixing the offensive line. It's no secret that Miami's O-line has been a problem. They need 2 new starting guards. There's no way around it. Right now, they have their right tackle, Austin Jackson, and center, Aaron Brewer, solidified. Left tackle is a question mark, depending on what happens with Terron Armstead. He could retire, be a post-June 1st cut, or return on a restructured deal. But the biggest issue? The interior. Robert Jones, Isaiah Wynn, and Liam Eichenberg simply haven't been good enough. Miami has to make real moves this offseason, whether in free agency, the draft, or both, to solidify this unit. Names like Will Fries, James Daniels, or even Mekhi Becton could be on Miami's radar in free agency. Whoever they don't land in free agency, they need to address in the draft within the first 3 rounds. This has to be a priority. If Miami doesn't invest in the offensive line, none of this matters. We've been talking about this same issue for multiple off seasons, and it's time for action. Chris Grier and Mike McDaniel have acknowledged the problem. Now they need to fix it. So, Dolphins fans, where do you stand on all this? Do you believe Tyreek Hill's apology finally puts the trade rumors to rest? How confident are you in Tua moving forward? And do you agree that the offensive line is the biggest issue holding this team back? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe for all the latest Dolphins updates. The offseason is just getting started, and we've got a lot to cover. Now that we've addressed the wide receiver room, Tua's expectations, and the offensive line issues, let's shift our focus to the bigger picture. What does this all mean for the Miami Dolphins heading into 2025? Let's start with the front office's role in shaping this team for success. Chris Grier and Mike McDaniel have done a solid job building a competitive roster, but the pressure is mounting. The Dolphins have been stuck in the same cycle for the past few years, flashes of dominance in the regular season followed by disappointment when it matters most. The window for this team to compete is right now, and if they don't make the right moves this offseason, that window could start closing faster than we think. One of the biggest concerns is cap space. The Dolphins are going to have to make some tough financial decisions to navigate their current situation. Tyreek Hill, Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Ramsey, Bradley Chubb, and Terron Armstead are all on major contracts. That means the Dolphins will have to be strategic in free agency. They can't afford to throw money at every problem, so expect them to target key positions wisely. The 2 biggest priorities? Offensive line and defense. We already talked about the O-line, but defensively, Miami has some major questions to answer. Let's start with the pass rush. Bradley Chubb and Jaylon Phillips are both coming off major injuries. Chubb tore his ACL in Week 17, and Phillips suffered a torn Achilles in Week 12. Those are serious injuries for edge rushers, and there's no guarantee that either will be ready to go at 100% to start the season. That leaves Miami in a tough spot. They can't bank on 2 recovering players to carry their pass rush, so they'll likely need to bring in reinforcements. Whether it's through free agency or the draft, expect Miami to add another edge rusher. Then, there's the secondary. Jalen Ramsey is still an elite corner, but opposite him, there are questions. Kidder Cole has showed promise, but is he a true CB2? Xavier Howard's future is up in the air, and even if he stays, he's not the shutdown corner he once was. Miami's secondary was banged up all last season, and they need to make sure they have depth to avoid a repeat of that situation. Dolphins fans, I want to hear from you. What are your expectations for this team in 2025? Do you believe Tua can stay healthy and take that next step? Are you confident in Mike McDaniel's ability to lead this team to playoff success? And what's your biggest concern heading into the offseason? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you're not already subscribed, make sure to hit that button. We'll have you covered with all the latest Dolphins news, rumors, and analysis all offseason long. Free agency is right around the corner, the draft is coming up, and there's a lot to discuss. Stay locked in, and as always, fins up.